Howdy, everybody. So, can you hear me? And can you see me? Because something weird happened while I was starting everything. So, while you guys let me know, hey, KP, what's going on? Hey, Teresa, Celtic Grandma, Teresa again. Hold on, wait. I'm doing good. Busy day today. Four Horsemen is next Tuesday. Next Tuesday will be on my channel. And then after that, we will be on Livingston Man's on election night, which should be interesting. Hey, Neil, what's going on? No, actually, I'm trying to get my FAA pilot's license, believe it or not, specifically for the drones, for the commercial drones. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Dave, what's going on? Neil, Dawn, hola, hola. I try to learn something new all the time. I try not to stagnate. Actually, it's funny. So I have a master's. I was doing a graduate. They didn't cover certain things that in my industry I needed, right? So I was taking these courses and I screwed up. And so I took a class. I was supposed to take one in March, one in July, right? Right, one right behind the other. And they moved the schedule. I didn't catch it. So I took the July course in June. And the other class that I missed wound up way next March. So I have this weird gap. So I'm like, what do I do with myself? I know I'll go study for my FAA pilot's license, which has been interesting to say the least. I'll tell you what, I did not realize this, but if you look at aviation maps, and I can see if I can pull one up, you actually, let me see if I can get Sky Vector up here because it's super cool what I learned. And it's every time I do some project like this, I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is interesting. And then I find an application for prepping. So let me share. I'm gonna I think you guys can see this map. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in on, I don't know, where shall I zoom in on? Let's zoom in on Houston. I like Houston's a fun place. So, oh, too much, right? That looks like a lot of gibberish, right? I mean, doesn't that tell me that doesn't look absolutely insane? In reality, these blue circles are Class B airspace, right? It gives me the elevation 2,200 feet, 1,100 feet. It actually tells me the direction and length of the various runways. This is Bush Airport. This is the frequencies you can listen to talk to the control tower. This ATIS is actually the frequency which you can use on a Baofeng. You can't transmit on that, but you can listen to weather reports live if other resources go down because those guys have backup. Directions of the airports, nearby obstructions. There's so much information here, but when you look at it the first time, you're like, what is this thing with all these little pokies and like, what the hell? So I learned so much just looking at this map. And so now, like, I go on trips. Now I'm planning trips, and I'm like, ooh, should I bring one of my radios? And then I can kind of like listen in on their air traffic control tower. And it's relevant because if you fly a drone in controlled airspace around like an airport or military base, you actually pop up on radar with certain drones. And if it's not under the 249 grams, it's like 0.55 pounds. You absolutely can get in trouble. And yeah, they can fine you if you do dumb things. Also, technically, you can't get paid for, like, if you're a drone pilot and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go do like drone videos of hotels or whatever. Legally speaking, if you're not licensed and have a little insurance plan, you cannot do that. And then if you have an accident, not only are you liable, you can get a fine. It's kind of like driving without a license. So, but I thought it was really cool. Hey, folks. Hey, Carol, Loretta. So, Gene, how are you? Daryl Calhoun, how are you, sir? Took a pic of with Neil Hahn and oh, did you? As a write-in for POTUS. That's just funny. I think you didn't like the other, candidates, and you'd probably be a more common sense guy anyway. Hey, Oki, what's going on? C4, anyone I miss here? But anyway, so definitely, hey, Hudson, did Hudson sneak in on me here? Oh, hey, Teresa again. Wait, where was he? Vision goes on later tonight. Hudson did not. Hudson went on last night. Um, okay, I lost the hey C4, what's going on? So yeah, it's anything new you learn, you can always find an application for preparedness, right? Now I kind of also there's something interesting. Those maps, if you notice, there were some red circles. That's a security flight restriction. Now they do them over stadiums. So like if the Texans are playing, I don't know, Oakland, well, no, now the Raiders are the Las Vegas Raiders. So if Texas plays Las Vegas, they will actually block the airspace over the stadium, not just for drones, for airplanes, for anything. And I expect that the Air Force Base south of Houston Mission Control has F-16s on standby. So if something intrudes the airspace, literally the Air National Guard is going to be up their butt very quickly. But it's cool to know because, like, if I'm planning to travel somewhere, Donald Trump was doing hops across Texas, and he like hit El Paso, and El Paso had they restricted the airspace from the day before until the day after. Now airplanes can still land on the airport, but they got to call in and get special authorization. They get specific routes, and that's a neat thing to know because if I'm going to go somewhere and I look and it's like, oh, there's something going on, I may not want to travel through that city to get where I'm going because I'm like, that means if the president shows up, for instance, it's going to be traffic. It's going to be, hey, winning streak. It's going to be traffic. There's going to be, people backed up. Airports will be backed up. Ubers will be taken up. Hotels maybe to capacity. You have the Super Bowl in a certain city. It's just going to ruin the city for like a week. So it's good stuff to know. Hey, Kali, I checked my Agenda 2030 map before flying. There's so many agendas, Agenda 2025, 2030. But yeah, folks, try to learn something new. Hey, Gene, um, try to learn new stuff when you can. I think that's probably one of the more important things we do in the preparedness community and as people. Read a book. Like you'd be shocked the stuff well, you can't see it over no this right here. Um, Reading Tom Clancy's books from like the 80s and 90s, and he goes through these old security protocols that have probably changed, but not that much. Like certain things just get done every time. And I'm like, that's pretty interesting to know. Hey, Rebecca. So, and Mr. Seymour, hello, hello. So, take that time to learn something. So 2 days ago, someone on X said, "Oh, we're going to have an October surprise for about Kamala," and I've yet to see something that like I'm like, well, we kind of already knew that. And then they said, "Oh no," they said we have an October surprise for Donald Trump, and I'm like, okay, I bite. What is it? And today they were like, he's Hitler. Like I think they've run out of things to come up with for both candidates. They're like, she says dumb shit. Okay, whatever. He said bad words. Okay, whatever. Like there's nothing new. Maybe that's good. Maybe they've run out of stupid. I mean, I would like to hope they did, but they may not have. Hey, Moonsprout. Yes, thank you. uh, but something did happen in Turkey, and not the bird, the peoples. And I want to share that with you. If I can bring that video up. Hold on just a second. I screwed up here. This one was on X. And I'll tell you what, since Elon took over X, I'm getting a lot of interesting live news, but if you don't know where to look for it, it becomes chaos on the feed. Let me show you this one real quick. You guys probably already heard about it, but this was so the Turkish president arrived at the BRICS summit in Russia. We've been talking about BRICS, BRICS, not BRICK. and this was from yesterday, 2 hours ago. Moments later, a well-armed and organized terror attack was launched in Turkey. And soldiers? Those are the soldiers responding to the attack. They actually went after an aerospace company that's one of Turkey's biggest producers of aircraft and aerospace stuff. So, in response, Turkey went and blamed the Kurds, who they don't like, and, "Hey, Tuck, what's going on?" And turned around and, like, started attacking them. Then I heard some speculation that, well, the Kurd, you know how Hezbollah is a proxy for Iran, and so is Hamas. Well, the Kurds are kind of our proxy according to these think tank guys. So they're like, well, was that the US or the Western powers giving a message to Turkey like you're not allowed to go into BRICS or we're going to send the Kurds after you? Did the Kurds just decide, oh, you know what, we're going to make him look bad at this meeting by going and tearing up a bunch of stuff? Uh, it's hard to say, but they they really they really attack the crap out of a lot of places, and I don't know if they've actually found the shooters. Like they tore up stuff. Let's see if hold on. All right, so I'm gonna play this back. Hopefully, I don't get run off of the YouTube here. Oh, that's teeny weeny. Hold on. All right, let me see. I don't know, there's fighting in the background. I guess this isn't the best video to show. That's actually pretty there. Like that's a nice park. Oh, there's some guys in the background. I don't know what's going on here. But that kind of attack concerns the hell out of me because that's really hard to plan for and to try to defeat because it doesn't take a lot of manpower, right? It doesn't take a lot of individuals. We've talked about the Mumbai attack back in I believe it was '08. And then you look at some of the other attacks like the Charlie Hebdo in France, right? What were we looking at? It was like 4 or 5 2 to 4 person teams that just scattered. Russia had the same attack. Remember when they attacked that theater or the opera house? These guys went in teams of 4. Did the Russians get them? Sure, but they made a holy hell mess of a thing. Um, it, yeah, I know. Could you imagine? You're like, hey, hey, what's going on? Hey, Virginia Bushcrafter, wherever you snuck in on. Hello, hello. Um, these are really hard kind of things, even conceptually, to prep for. Even if you conceal carry, even if you or someone who's gone through some training, either in the military or civilian security or law enforcement, or you just took some really good classes to be competent. Hey, Loretta, you have guys pop out with Kalashnikovs in the mall and start going to work on the civilians. And that becomes a very dynamic situation, even for a trained person. You've got civilians running around, you've got shots firing. I mean, you ever go to the mall and like you hear a kid scream like they're whining, and it echoes, and you don't know where the annoying kid is, right? You can hear the kid, but it echoes off the wall. Could you imagine unmuffled gunfire in your typical American mall? I'm talking the indoor malls, not the big strip malls. Your hearing would be gone, and you'd have no perception of what direction things were coming from. And, people will instinctively run away. And that's not always a good thing because you don't know if they're running toward the danger because they're confused as well. So, this is the kind of stuff that makes me nervous, especially with the way this election has been. Um, hey Hudson, what's going on, my friend? It's good to see you, man. Thank you for joining. Thank you to all my mods, by the way. I don't thank you guys enough for hopping in and smashing the occasional troll. Um, Hey, Casey. Yeah, unfortunately, the phone app doesn't let you tag people. It doesn't tag very well anyway. Weird acoustic, huh? Right, and even outdoors, it has weird acoustic. And a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through. That's not a terrible place to get stuck. You could be stuck on an overpass. Oh, excuse me, just a moment. It's my young colleague is meeting some of her clients at a happy hour, and I had a happy hour last week, and I'm probably still need to rehydrate from that mess. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of the guys from there were a bunch of work colleagues, but then a lot of the veterans showed up, and then there was smack talk, and then we decided to play games, and we were darts and whatnot, and then the beer, and then somebody brought in old fashions, and it went downhill. Um, yeah, it's I guess you need a good night like that every month or two. You just have a really tie one on and get it out of your system. But yeah, no, they're out having fun, which is cool. Hey, Food Forest, how you been? So again, those kind of things are really hard to prep for, and I'm trying to get. I saw some great footage. Okay, and there's one thing interesting here that I want to share with you. Hold on, let me share this because this was new. I had not seen this before. Hold on, doggone you. Let's see if I'm going to try this again. Hold on, just a second. Um, boop. Okay, you see this video here. You see these people like with backpacks and whatnot at the bottom. So you see, is a man and a woman, and he's helping her with this pack. That pack is clearly heavy. She's actually one of the shooters. She and actually, woman and male terrorists went to a restaurant just before terror attack. So they identified her on the video. This video is garbage. It's not a very good quality one. But and the cops just went right by him. You see that? And they're just walking. They look like a young couple. Like who would think? And it's so it's so what you're saying is you can't hang with the big dogs anymore. Oh, I'm feeling my age, but no, it got out of hand. Yeah, it was, and it was probably largely my fault because I started making jokes, and you think I'm a comical guy. Now you should meet me in person because I can get really comical and come up with fun things to say, and then again it goes kind of downhill, but that's okay. Um, Yeah, but when we were 25, the hangovers, you could work your way through. You get older, the knees hurt on top of everything else. You're like, now my knees hurt, my feet hurt, and I have a hangover, and that just sucks. Although not Benadryl, Advil is your friend. But interesting. I had not seen a woman terrorist uh, lead a team like that, and she actually was in front on one of the assaults on the building. Um, so it's interesting, and it's concerning because there's a lot of talk about us not it to election day without some disruption. I believe Vision later is going to talk about what's his topic tonight. Shit, I saw it earlier. It's something about hacks or EMPs or hacks, something like that. I'd have to look again, but yeah, check him. He comes on 7:30 East Coast time, so 6:30 mine. Or maybe an hour. It's later today. But oh no, not yet. I got more, dude. I just need to moderate. Now, what my saving grace was, it was a chili cook-off and a charity event too. So I ate before I drank because some of the young guys actually had no perception of what they should do. Thank you. Thanks, Teresa. And he should be covering. Yes. Yeah, and people don't realize that, and part of the danger in something like that is when you think terrorist, right? You close your eyes and you think terrorist, right? You think of some guy with the big beard and a bandana, and you don't think of the young woman with the hoodie and the college hoodie and the sneakers and the little crop top, and she's like, do, and then the Kalishnikov comes out and nobody sees it coming. Um, it's important to be aware that a risk could come from anywhere, and it can make you crazy if you overanalyze it. But it's good to understand typically what I've seen, and when I went through this active shooter training, they actually had one of the regional FBI guys, and they had some of the tactical team guys doing a little seminar for corporate security types, corporations, engineers, people who would be in charge of other people. So if something happened, I would have an action plan as like the manager of a work site. And he said most shooters will be, how did he put it? Would likely be suicidal or indifferent to death. Maybe not actively trying to be deleted by themselves, but they will. Oh yeah, I believe it, Dan. That got them proximity too, if I recall the stories correctly. Um, you they will likely not have much concern about their own well-being. They usually have a grudge, but there are signs before. And he said very often when the FBI or the law enforcement does an investigation after a terror incident, they go backwards, and there were a lot of missed signs, like, oh, he was giving away all his prized possessions. He started eating and drinking ridiculous things, like he didn't care about his health. It's because I had already decided I'm not going to be here in a week, so who cares? It's important to understand. Hey, thanks, Don. Take care. Absolutely, D-bags. And yeah, and that's a good point. A Molotov cocktail, right, can set a whole building on fire very quickly if it's thrown the right way. Um, these kind of situations are very difficult to prep for, and I'm going to do another more detailed video next week. But we've had a slew of gun store robberies, and when I say gun store robberies, um, you know, by regulation, the ATF requires if you have an FFL and you own a gun store, you have to have certain types of safe. The building has to be secured a certain way. You can't just have glass windows, right? You have to have iron bars. You have to have, masonry of so much thickness around. If you leave the firearms in the store, the windows have to be barred, door calls. And hey, Hutch, what's going on? I saw your name in there. There he is. Hola. And we have seen the criminals here lately steal a bulldozer from another or backhoe from another location and bust up a gun shop, stealing large vehicles, not like, oh, I stole a car to steal an ATM. You've seen them do that, right? Where they break into the convenience store and try to take the ATM. No, they're backing it into the gun store entirely to get weapons. And it's happened in several cities, and they're happening very fast, one behind the other. And to me, that's super concerning. Within, say, an hour drive of where I'm sitting right now, I can think of one, two, three, four attempted break-ins. One they caught the guys because somebody screwed up and they got a license plate or whatever or somebody's face. The other three they're still looking for. One resulted in them getting miscellaneous things, but they didn't get a lot in the firearms. But at least one of them that I can think of, if I'm right, they were level 3 firearms. Like, I'm talking not AR-15s or your Saiga. I'm talking fully automatic, suppressed, laser sight equipped, the stuff we send guys into battle with, that for you and I, we need special permits and we have to jump through hoops and pay for fees and background checks and all that. And those are now on the street and we don't know where. And aside from that, the border's not secure. I mean, we're intercepting cocaine shipments. and people, like boatloads of people coming in that we'd never see. I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to, sneak Kalashnikovs in from, that came from Russia through Africa. That wouldn't be a hard thing to do. That concerns me because we don't know where these weapons are, and it's a slew of them. They're not stealing them from individuals. They are stealing, your usual break into a car, steal somebody's gun. But these are targeted. They're targeting the stores that they know have high-end weapons, and they're not even targeting your generic store that has an AR-15 assortment. They're going after the ones that have the automatic shit. Yeah, belt-fed. In one of the cases, that's exactly what bothers me. And I'm looking at this thing in Turkey. I'm looking at the attack in Tel Aviv. What was it, 2 weeks ago? And it's super concerning that hold on a second here. I don't know what just happened here. Sorry, I'm still on call, even though technically the day's over for me. Just to make sure nothing breaks while I'm out and about. Oh. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, hell's bells. Well, hell, we had a family appointment this evening. So I'm going to have to cut this one short. But yeah, that's my point. There could be things going on that we're unaware of. And like Kentucky points out, seeing that many. So pay attention in your area. And keep in mind, the firearms are portable, right? They can steal them here and then go somewhere else and do bad shit. Watch your area. Watch for people who don't fit. Not that they're lost or they're new, but someone who doesn't know what they've gotten into. They look really out of place. Like they look suspicious, body language. They're monitoring and analyzing things. So anyway, folks, I wanted to leave you with that one tonight. It looks like we may have forgotten something this evening, so I'm going to have to go take care of that. But look, you guys be good, be safe out there, be careful. Please be careful. And as always, watch your six, stay ready, make sure your vehicle's in good shape, make sure your bags are in good shape. Because if something happens, they shut down the roads, you may have to go on foot. So you guys take care. God bless, Godspeed, and I will see you later on this week. You guys take care, and don't forget Vision tonight and Hudson. No, I'm hosting Four Horsemen next week, and then Livingston Man on election night. Take care, guys. Be good.